here today. Let's start off with a little bit of decorum. Oak Harbor Public Schools would like to remind guests this is a graduation ceremony and not a sporting event. We ask that all guests, including small children, remain seated throughout the ceremony. Any guests that need to leave their seats are expected to do so during a break in the ceremony and will not be able to return to your seat until the next break. Guests are expected to maintain a dignified atmosphere. Anything that blocks someone's view or obstructs someone from hearing the ceremony, in other words, noisemakers, tripod signs, will not be allowed through the stadium gates. Pets are never allowed in the stadium. Organizers are aiming for an exciting yet respectable experience. They also want to eliminate the chance of blocking walkways or the views of other guests. We'll get started in just a moment. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome the faculty and staff of Oak Harbor High School, led by Dr. Lance Gibbon, Superintendent of Oak Harbor Public Schools, Ms. Sandy Oren, Assistant Principal of Oak Harbor Public Schools, and Mr. Dwight Lundstrom, Principal of Oak Harbor High School. Ladies and gentlemen, please allow me to present the graduating class of 2019, led by Mr. Jeff Babel, teacher, Oak Harbor High School. hats for the presentation of colors by the NJROTC Color Guard. Please remain standing until the colors are unharnessed. Please be seated. To the graduates, most of us go through life so focused on success that it inadvertently becomes the point of everything. If this is you, then how you define success, or even better, who defines success for you, becomes your identity and very reason for being. For most of us, whether we are aware of it or not, it is someone else who defines our goals and ambitions. Call it peer pressure or societal expectations, or a parent or role model saying, go to college, get a job, join the military, make money. We all get steered in life's journey to some degree. Many people, maybe most people, allow outside influences to control them, to define who they are. Sometimes we need a nudge to our steering, and life immediately after high school is probably one of those times. But please know that as you build life experience, the power to control the general direction of your life is in your hands. This is a scary concept because suddenly there is no one else to blame for your perceived disappointments. But truth is power, so relish your failures, dust yourself off, get up, and try again. Define your success carefully because the basis of that definition will largely determine the course of your entire life. Question your definition of success thoroughly and often because it will and should change as you grow. Here are four very short pieces of advice to help you shape your personal definition of success for any moment in time. First, embrace challenge. Some challenges will be chosen, but many will not. Accept that life is not fair. Look challenge squarely in the eye and live with enthusiasm and vitality. Second, express yourself creatively, whether if it's by singing a song, painting a picture, writing a story, or speaking about meaningful things with friends and family. Listening to yourself communicate is a wonderful way of determining what rings true and what does not. Ultimately, how you listen is an indicator of your compassion for others and maybe your most lasting positive influence on the world. Third, don't quit. This does not mean never alter course due to an evolving definition of success or a change in strategy to get there. Accept the unchangeable, do your best, and get on with the miracle of life. And finally, laugh often and loudly. Be true to yourself and let the kindness of your soul shine through. Be courageous in showing the world who you really are, defined by no one other than the inner goodness that resides in us all. And now I'd like to introduce our first speaker of the day, Ms. Jules Toney.
Sorry, difficulties. Life is about the journey, not the destination. Enduring the 12 years of school has taught me this. When I first thought about this year's theme of what's the point, I envisioned finding some perfect answer to a vague question, but after searching for the answer to the best of my ability, I was struggling. It was when my manager was telling me about going on crazy midnight adventures for no reason at all that I realized the point is to live for moments like these and never take them for granted. Fyodor Dostoevsky, a Russian novelist, once said that the mystery of human existence lies not in just staying alive, but in finding something to live for. We've all had times where we wonder, what's the point of my being here? Or what's the point of keeping on going to places like school or work? People often associate school or work with the feeling of dread, but they forget the moments that made these places and times truly memorable, the moments that made life worth living. I will never forget the time that I told Mr. Lundstrom and Mr. Fleury that we should have more chicken nuggets for lunch, and they told me to put it in the suggestion box. Little did I know, there wasn't one. Moments like these are the reasons I will miss coming to school. Moments I will cherish forever. I'll never forget the days at work when I felt like the world was against me, but my bosses came to me with open arms and open hearts and helped me forget all the doubt in my head. We often disregard the moments that make life worth living and focus on the negatives because they capture our attention. This past year, I was in trouble choir. and after every performance in class, Mr. McCoy would ask us to point out the things that worked best and the things that worked least. He would always limit us to how many negative comments we made because he knew it was easier to look at the negatives in life instead of grasping the moments that help us find ourselves and make us human. Think about a difficult time. Attending this graduation, for example. I don't doubt that the parking was chaotic and stress levels were high. But picture the moment you spotted the young adult that you love walking toward this ceremony that we've worked so hard to attend for the past 12 years. After today, everything will change for us. We will no longer await the coming school year, rather we will await the next adventure. Today is a big step in our long journey, a new chapter in our lives, and we are prepared to go out and start a new beginning. We will never forget the moments that helped shape us into the people we are today. So next time someone asks me, what's the point? I will tell them, the point is not to ask what the point is. The point is to look back at your most precious moments and realize that sometimes it's the same moments that take your breath away that breathe purpose and love back into your life. It's been a crazy ride, Wildcats. I hope you all go off and make your life worth living, and I hope you wake up every day from this day forward ready to change the world. Thank you. I would now like to introduce our next speaker, Samantha O'Connor.
What's the point? It's something we've all asked ourselves during the last 12 years. I am not a 4.0 student. I do not have the best study habits. I have failed a test more than once in my life. I've had to retake a class. I've learned that just because you're once the gifted kid, it doesn't mean that you don't have anything else to learn. I've learned that it doesn't matter if you are good at math, or if you really hate chemistry, or if you never want to take a music class in your life. I know that we've all come to this point thinking that there must be some greater purpose. There must be some reason why we spent the last 12 years struggling, having some successes, but even more failures. We've all come here thinking about the great things that we're going on to do and how we are going to graduate at the top of our class from Stanford or Skagit, and that's our purpose. In reality, our purpose is whatever we make it out to be. In the last 4 years, there have been endless forgettable days. Within those, there have been plenty of days that we will remember for the rest of our lives. From our first football game to our last dance, the test we never thought we were going to pass, to the AP exams we didn't know how we were going to do. Maybe we passed, but maybe we didn't. When the football team almost made it to state playoffs in 2016, to bomb threat the very same year that led to us being afraid to walk through the front doors, we constantly asked ourselves, what's the point? Well, what is the point? We've spent so much of our lives trying to figure out what comes next. How are we going to do it? And how are we supposed to figure it out? What's the point if we hadn't found a teacher that made us love science, or the one that made Shakespeare slightly more bearable? Well, if we had a penny for each time we asked this question, I guess student loans wouldn't be a problem, would they? The class of 2019 is filled with questions. We ask ourselves if we are good enough, while simultaneously validating each other with unwavering confidence. We demand improvement. We pride ourselves on being the best, and if we aren't, we push ourselves and each other to be better. How many times can we read Shakespeare's words, "Oh, I am slain," before it becomes less funny? How many times will we make cookie runs on Thursdays after convincing Mr. C that yes, it is very necessary for our understanding of the sun also rises? Even though today, as we walk across the stage, we are ending our time here, and some of us may not know what the point is, that's okay. We've made connections and lost them, we have struggled and we have overcome. Honestly, not that much we learn in class will help us in the real world. What will help us, however, is knowing that no matter where we go, what we do, or who we go there with, we will always be a Wildcat. Thank you. Now it is my great pleasure to introduce the one, the only, Alex Amick.
Thank you for the introduction. So welcome to all faculty, administration, honorable guests, regular guests, you know who you are, families, and most importantly, the class of 2019. Well, today is a day of celebration to rejoice the countless obstacles we have overcome and the numerous accomplishments we have achieved in the past 4 years. Without doubt, we have substantially grown in the past 4 years. I mean, physically, we look all different. Mentally, for some, but that's okay. It's a lifetime goal. So, right. Although we are more or less the same, there's one exception that separates us from our past. We have developed the rudimentary skills to launch ourselves into the future. Having been under the instruction of such amazing faculty, we're now able to lay the foundations for posterity, and hopefully for global prosperity. Now, I have complete faith that some of you will succeed. Maybe like a minor of you, but that's fine. But I have to admit that the future frightens me. Here are the reasons why. 50% of us will be married by the age of 24. 50% of those marriages will end in divorce. 8 billion people by the year 2024. By the end of the century, sea levels will have risen by 3 feet. And by the year 2050, global temperatures will have risen by additional 1.5 degrees Celsius. And I think the most startling statistic of all is we're all die. So, okay. No, don't stop me. I'm not done. Okay. So, okay. However, we are all given choices in life, okay? And the most important one is a binary one, to either merely exist or to live, or to resign, but that's not an option, or not yet, anyway. Okay, so I'm gonna give you some consolation. Life has no purpose. Life has no meaning. I think we should all cease to hope, and we should just give up on our ambitions. I'm joking. But however, I believe that our responsibility is that we must assign significance in our lives. And to do this, we must have complete faith in our interpretation of life. We must inscribe in life in subjective truth. Don't allow mass media mentality to dictate your destination, but always allow your vision to guide your path. So whatever you do in life, we should all follow the advice of Albert Camus, a French philosopher of the 20th century. He once wrote, "Men must live and create, live to the point of tears." Thank you. So the next speaker is Julia Beamer.
I would like to thank the people who have been instrumental in my class's education. Thank you to the parents, teachers, peers, faculty, and community members who have made us who we are today. After this ceremony, we will be graduates and move on to take our places in our adult lives. Some of us may meet every day, and some of us may never see each other again. Our lives will all be inherently different after this point, just as they were before it. So what's the point? If we all have different lives, different circumstances, and nothing in common, what's the point? The point is the pride, or maybe even relief, that we will all feel as we exit this stadium as graduates. The gratitude we will feel to the people who made us who we are, and the apprehension we will feel towards a vague future. The point is that one day we will feel joy so exhilarating that we cry, love so strong our chests will burst, and awe so clear our bodies turn to light. Of course, we cannot experience these emotions with the intensity they deserve until we have felt others. Without experiencing great sadness, we cannot experience great joy. We need the negative as well as the positive to make life worth living. So one day, we will feel anger so potent that our bones will break and reform, despair so raw that every one of our muscles will tense and our throats will burn with grief, and even apathy so deep that we have to fight to crawl out of it, rather than face the yawning void of emptiness. However, this does not last forever. The experiences of our highs will be made sweeter by knowing the lows. I know that our anger towards the injustices we will face, our grief from our experiences, and our fears of the unknown will not cripple us. These emotions will motivate us to create kindness, joy, and awe in our own lives and to share them with others, no matter their race, gender, sexuality, or religion. This may scare you, to experience emotion, to open yourselves to the world like that. But we cannot numb ourselves. We cannot be afraid to feel, recklessly and without abandon. I promise you that it's worth it. There is no point in living without feeling. The entire point of living is to feel. So, as you graduate, as you move on in life, my class, Wildcats of 2019, I encourage you to experience life in all of its facets, to feel and to keep hope that no matter who we are or who we become, one day we will look back on what we've accomplished and feel pride. Thank you. Now please allow me to introduce our next speaker, one of my dearest friends, Logan Ince.
Hello. Thank you, Julia, and welcome parents, family, and friends who have supported every one of us graduating here today. And congratulations to the class of 2019 for making it to this important milestone of our lives. Congratulations to the parents who worked with us to get here, reminding us to study and work hard, helping learn addition in first grade and, well, being our cheerleaders through algebra, but also for reminding us to take breaks and make time for us, to be happy and healthy on our journey through high school, so we know how to live happy, healthy, and productive adult lives. Class of 2019, we have spent the last 13 years in school. Some of us spent those years here in Oak Harbor, but many of us moved in sometime between starting kindergarten over a decade ago and today as we stand here at graduation. Regardless of the places we've been, experiences we've had, or people we've met, there is one fundamental question teachers probably hear from us all too often. What is the point? There seems to be no known simple answer, but to be brief, it depends. From person to person and topic to topic, what we have chosen to take from school is as varied as we are. But what we get out of school does say a lot about us. We've been given this magnificent opportunity to learn something here. Not about calculus, biology, or world history, but about what makes us each unique and individual human beings. Through our classes and clubs, our friendships, as well as our rivalries, hopefully, we have learned at least one thing from our time here at Oak Harbor High School. Not only that we are each unique, but what makes us that way. What gives us our point. If you walk down and get that diploma, knowing more about yourself than you did when you arrived in Oak Harbor schools, then you have accomplished something spectacular. Knowing ourselves will allow us to be the very best version of us. Our achievements will be unique. No one else that ever has been or will ever be is exactly like any of us here today. Today, we start a journey to go out and do the things that only we can do. Whether that is starting a small business, joining the military, working in industry, or dedicating after-hours time to a charity. There are so many possibilities for our lives ahead. Whatever we each end up doing, we must do it how only we can. Make your life meaningful to you and impactful for those around you. There is no single point in life or in school. We each have lives with purposes of our own design. But whatever you choose to be your purpose, make it your own. Your mission and your purpose that you pursue with passion, with dedication, and with the knowledge of what makes you who you are. Thank you. Our next speaker will be my friend, the wonderful Natalie Hahn.
I was recently asked, what's the point? What is the point of doing well in high school? What is the point of rising above the level of just floating along? There are a mountain of answers to this. The short answer to this question is, it's practice. High school is just practice for the rest of your life. Everybody has to walk before they run, and the same applies for school. Over the past 4 years, we have all learned to walk together. We learned how to solve problems, and we learned how to learn. And once we know how to learn, we never have to stop. Learning is incredibly important. It teaches us what we like. Knowing what we enjoy shows us what we want to do in the future. It shows us what we want to do to make a living. A fulfilling career that we genuinely enjoy leads to a fulfilling life. Learning is what moves us forward. The other point of high school is to provide us all with a place where we can safely discover ourselves and still make mistakes. The adult world is much less forgiving than the high school one. High school allows us to learn responsibility in a safe, forgiving environment. In addition, high school provides us all with a foundation to build upon for the rest of our lives. Many of us will pursue further education. The math, science, English, history, and arts we have learned throughout high school have given us a platform to stand on, one that will allow us to delve deeper into these subjects and more in our post-secondary education. Another point of high school is to learn skills that don't come out of a textbook. Things like our favorite ways to study, and things about ourselves, such as how many alarms it takes to get us up in the morning. I have discovered that for me, that number is often at least 5, including 1 or 2 set across the room. Now, why should we strive for our best? Because you get out what you put in. If we develop traits like drive, motivation, kindness, and positive attitude now, those things are going to stay with us throughout the rest of our lives. I'd like to thank you all so much for your support over the past 4 years. This community has been so incredibly supportive, and you have all, in some way or another, helped shape us into the successful graduating class that we are. Thank you. Our next speaker will be Kanoa King.
Thank you, Natalie. Thank you, teachers, faculty, friends, and family, for being here today as a part of the celebration for this year's Oak Harbor High School graduating class. With how fast these past 4 years have gone for our students, we have not gotten the chance to sit back and look at what we, as a whole graduating class, have accomplished together. We received almost $7 million in college scholarships. DECA went to nationals. Our volleyball team went to state. Our robotics team and NJRTC teams have been successful in competitions, and there are many more accomplishments. The amount of success that this year's seniors have been a part of in the past 4 years is immense. And it is clear that as a senior class, we have set the bar high for future generations. But now that high school is over, we all have a new legacy to start, our own in our real life. We can make a legacy by chasing our dreams and accomplishing them, but we must not let go of our dreams when times get hard. I see too many people after high school forget about their dreams because of the adversity life throws at them once they are on their own. Too many people spend their whole life working a job just so they can afford to live. They don't have enough time because they have adult things to do. In reality, these are just excuses that are blurring us from writing the book of our life that we really want. 12 years ago, a 34-year-old young mother was seeing her 6-year-old son grow up and become the man he was meant to be, and also dreamed of becoming a nurse. In the midst of all her aspirations, she was diagnosed with stage 3 breast cancer. She didn't let this stop her from accomplishing her dreams. She took her nursing exam and passed it just after receiving chemotherapy treatment. She continued to take care of her son and raise him. 12 years later, she is watching her son speak to his graduating class at his high school graduation. If a small 4-foot, 11-inch lady can defeat a deadly disease like cancer, what is our excuse for not accomplishing our dreams? But what's the point of chasing our dreams in the first place? What's the point of reaching for the stars, of setting lofty goals, having aspirations? The point is to inspire future generations with our legacy. At the end of our lives, we want to look back at this chapter we're about to step into, be proud of how we all set our own legacy after high school and how it impacted others. For now, let's enjoy this milestone with our friends and family, and be ready to start the next period of our lives. To my family sitting in the stands, to the class of 2019, I love you guys 2,000. And to my mom, thank you for letting your legacy impact me and my entire life, and hopefully as well as everyone in the stadium now. May we all have the fighting spirit that you have. Thank you. I would now like to invite Josh Stone up to the stage.
At this time, I would like you to join me in a moment of silence to remember our Carter Ball and Wildcats. It is now my pleasure to introduce Oak Harbor High School Principal, Mr. Dwight Lundstrom.
Class of 2019, congratulations. So class of 2019, welcome to one of many celebrations that will mark pivotal times in your lives. I'd also like to welcome parents, families, staff, and community, and then apparently, according to Alex, I need to thank the regular guests also. Thank you for coming here today to celebrate this milestone for the class of 2019. Thank you for the support you have provided to our students throughout their 13 years of education. Thank you for the council, travel to countless events, assistance with science project, and the scratching of heads over algebra problems. Thank you to you as a community for your support with the programs and facilities you provide to our students to benefit them with their education. So a little bit about this group. Last night was Senior Scholarship Night, and I'd like to share with you this year's numbers. These students earned $187,850 in local scholarships, and thanks to you for your efforts of providing those for our kids. We have have 7 students that have amassed a total of $3,384,000 in military scholarships for full rides to the college of their choice. And then they have another $3,300,000-ish that have been offered to them through national organizations and the colleges they will be attending. So I'm not sure I remember a total quite like this one, but their grand total is about $6.8 million. The other thing you should know is 81 of these students have received scholarships, which is about 25% of this class. So good job, class of 2019. So seniors, while you may have thought 4 years in high school felt like a long time, when you look back, it'll seem very short. I have to tell you, 35 years, counting my own high school days, is long enough to give me a bit of a perspective on high school. I must say, you threw me for a bit of a curve with your theme. Originally, your theme concerned me as sarcastic and flippant. But then I heard 10 of you audition with speeches based on this year's theme, and I was so proud of the young people you have become throughout your education. You are thoughtful, have concern for the future of our planet, country, community, and you believe in the kindness of others, towards others. You also understand the gift Oak Harbor has given you with the education and opportunity extended to you through the school system and our supportive community. Thank you so much. So this is the participatory part of our speeches today. So audience, if you have done home or yard spruce up to get ready for this celebration, please rise. If you have worked on your house to get ready for all the family that's here, please rise. And stay up, stay up, stay up, stay up. If you are here because of the pride you have in one of these graduates, please rise. So in case there's anyone left sitting, please stand if you are thankful your graduate made it to be part of this commencement. So graduates, this group of people are one of the points of why you have worked all these years in school. Yes, thank you for participating. So what is the point? You heard 7 students talk today on this question. I believe they are all spot on and would like to add my theory. So events like graduation are the point. Opportunities to recognize the hard work performed well over long periods of time and celebrate it. You've worked for 13 years of schooling to reach this point in your life. This is not your pinnacle. This point marks one of the many changes you have and will experience throughout your lifetime. You are now on the edge of moving towards your adult lives. Some of you are heading into your first jobs, off to basic, college, a gap year, or maybe trying to figure out how long your parents will let you stay in the house without a plan. The point is, your future is yours to build. Build it with optimism, build it bravely, build it around your passion. The point is that you will have many more moments to celebrate in your lives. More graduations, job offers, joining of lives with someone special, births and losses. Parents, I speak from experience that there are many more points that you will have to celebrate with your child. Side note, I will also warn you that you are not done. If you have girls graduating, you are much closer than those of you who have boys. Remember, I have 2 sons and 1 daughter. I'm speaking from experience now. If you have read anything about brain research, believe it, the frontal lobe doesn't finish developing until they are 25. If you want other proof than the brain research, ask actuaries that develop insurance rates and car agencies that will not rent a car to your son until they turn 25. And I gotta say, 25 is the magic number for your boys. And it was also a huge celebration between my wife and I when both my sons have reached that milestone in their life. So anyway, back to the point here. You are not done, and you don't want to be. You will want to continue the celebration that life brings as your children grow and head out on their own. Again, from experience, there are many celebrations ahead. Enjoy these moments. Take the time to notice when they are happening, like right now. Take time to thank those who share in those celebrations, and finally, enjoy this celebration. Congratulations, class of 2019, on your graduation and one of the many important milestones you will reach throughout your lifetime. So now I would like to introduce Mr. Jared Fleury and Mr. Ray Cohn, who will read off all those wonderful 81 individuals who received scholarships last night.
Good afternoon, parents, guests, and students of the class of 2019. It is our honor to read the names of the graduating seniors who have received scholarship offers this school year. Students, please rise and remain standing when your name is called. Parents and guests, since we will be reading a long list, please refrain from applauding until we've completed the list so that everyone is able to hear all of the students' names.
Shayna Agbar.
Alfonso II.
Alex Amick.
Elika Atienza.
Manik Baines.
Andrew Beloy.
Orlando Basario Jr.
Julia Beamer.
Austin Besh.
Sierra Brackeen.
Genevieve Bress.
Cameron Bristow.
Haven Brown.
Joshua Burke.
Lance Burley.
Marcus Carmen.
Aiden Castellanos.
Damon Christensen.
Autumn Coker.
Hannah Crawford.
Sierra Dean.
Amy A.J. Diamond.
Joseph Dixon.
Molly Fain.
Andrea Fisher.
Michael Fiskin.
Zachary Fortin.
Sarah Gallagher.
Adrian Gribble.
Kelly Grunwald.
Natalie Hahn.
Emma C. Hansen.
Dorian Harden.
Sean Hargrove.
Logan Inns.
Soraya Johnson.
Taylor Johnston.
Mason Kali'i Kukapako.
Taylor Kessler.
Thomas Kanoa Lopez King III.
Serena Kitchell.
Donnie Clower.
Benjamin Knoll.
Chloe Kubiziak.
Taylor Leo Lambert.
Crystal Lim.
Danielle Lonmore.
Destin Mansika.
Stephanie Mayer.
Braden McMahon.
Nathan Merrill.
Camden Miller.
Emma Morgan Mueller.
Samantha Jo Olson.
Destiny Overly.
Alexandria Peters.
Nalani Kichocho.
Leah Quiddishay.
Reed Richards.
Matthew Rosencrantz.
Justin Ross.
Rosalinda Sanchez.
Kevin Schultz.
Jasmine Schultz.
Blake Servadius.
Tavion Shaw.
Hannah Chin.
Rosa Marie Simpliciano.
Sharon Sohn.
Monique Stolmeyer.
Kimber Tanner.
Sahara Tanner.
Ming Kim.
Caleb Torrio.
Sarah Ullum.
Shandine Vanderveer.
Jessica Vester.
Valerie Wiley.
Juliana Wilson. Please join us in a round of applause for these students. It is now my pleasure to introduce Oak Harbor Public Schools Superintendent Dr. Lance Gibbon.
Well, welcome everyone on this beautiful afternoon. Congratulations, graduates. I've had the chance to get to know many of you during my 12 years here, and I just have to say how proud I am of all that you've accomplished and how far you've come. I'd also like to recognize another special graduate here today, and it's only taken him about 20 years to graduate. He helped build this stadium, remodel the school, and raise Oak Harbor to one of the premier high schools in America. Please join me in thanking Principal Dwight Lundstrom. For those of you who don't know, Mr. Lundstrom is graduating from high school to become our new assistant superintendent. And so instead of spending time with students every day, he gets to hang out with me. So lucky him. Well, there's a Chinese saying that goes, if you want happiness for an hour, take a nap. If you want happiness for a day, go fishing. If you want happiness for a year, inherit a fortune. If you want happiness for a lifetime, help somebody. Graduates, as you move beyond high school, some of the loudest voices in our society will say that the point of your life should be landing a great job or earning a lot of money. Maybe getting things like a nice car and a big house. But bigger is not better, and more does not make you happy. In fact, since the 1970s, the size of the average American family home has nearly doubled, but Americans' happiness with those homes is really about the same. Ironically, the more that we focus inward and on what we want, the less happy we become. But when we shift that focus outward, something amazing happens. Through MRI scans, scientists have discovered that giving actually stimulates the pleasure centers of the brain. We're hardwired for service. And as we do, our needs for purpose and connection and fulfillment are being met in return. Now, graduates, the good news is that you have a lot of experience doing just that. Let me give you a couple examples. This year, our Wildcat Robotics team beamed with pride as they watched a 4-year-old girl who was born missing half an arm ride her bike for the first time with a prosthetic they'd engineered and 3D printed for her. Students from Oak Harbor High School's transition program, many with significant learning or physical needs, proudly served a potluck meal they planned and prepared for our local police officers. And the list goes on and on. You've collected thousands of food items for the Help House, served as school buddies for elementary students, built tiny homes for the homeless, made blankets for patients in Children's Hospital, and so much more. But as much as you benefit from serving, you can't overestimate how it affects others. This year, over 100 choir students, band students, and NJRT students came to the school on Saturday to honor our community's veterans. After the program, a Korean War veteran came up to me with tears in his eyes to say how deeply moved and grateful he was for our students' service. See, that's the point. Touching and changing lives. And my encouragement to you today is to continue to look for opportunities to have an impact through service. It doesn't take money, connection, influence, or any special talent or ability. It just takes you. Winston Churchill put it this way: we make a living by what we get. We make a life by what we give. Congratulations, class of 2019, and thank you for what you've given and what you will give to make our world a better place. At this time, I would like to introduce Oak Harbor High School Principal Dwight Lundstrom and Associate Principal Arnie Otterbeck, and Oak Harbor Public School Board members Jessica Oz and Mr. John Diamond for the presentation of the diplomas.
Kelly Grunwald. Natalie Hahn. Joshua Stone. Aiden Castellanos. Sahara Tanner. Jenna Flores. Alexander Amick. Margaret Japper. Belinda Larsena. Julia Beamer. Thomas Kanoa King III. Andrew Beloy. Kenzo Sturm. Shingo Johnston. Alfonso. Shayna Algier. Braden McMahon. Caitlin Barailer. Matthew Rosenkrantz. Logan Ince. Nathaniel Thompson. Nathan Merrill. Morgan Magniak. Jules Tony. Kai Rudnick. Alicia Whitson. Samantha O'Connor. Carl Davis. Genevieve Bress. Juliana Wilson. Kimber Tanner. Cameron Bristow. Leah Quiche. Austin Besh. Dorian Harden. Zoe Tullis. Camden Miller. Kyle Torres. Caleb Torrio. Jasmine Lee Schultz. Angela Peterson. Crystal Lynn. Sierra Raheem. Ronnie Clover Jr. Taylor Rommel. Michaela Rose DeVitagracia. Camille Reyes. Jack Lovendale. Thomas Anderson. William Tiskowski. Trevor Shields. Cameron Trujillo. Monik Bangs. Danielle Longboard. Emily Gouge. Caitlin Rojas. Brooke Wilson. Brittany McCullough. Brandon McCullough. Jessica Vargas. Jasmine Moss. Andrea Fisher. Chloe Kabisiak. Sarah Gallagher. Leo Lambert. Gabrielle Luffman. Alexander Schlick. Sharon Sohn. Mung Juan Tim. Sophie Sandal. Stephanie Mayer. Ashlyn Pinson. Sierra Lejean. Nick Servadius. Justin Michael Go. Autumn Coker. Ann June Lemoyne. Thane Rum. Elika Atienza. Isabel Lim. Leonette Falcon Ramos. Trajan Jefferson. Santiago Suarez. Caitlin O'Brien. Allison Youngman. Hayden Campbell. Michael Fiskin. Cameron Sika. Keegan Daniels. Jonathan Giuliano. Jesse Newsom. Caitlin Shear. Gary Garston. Martin J. Thane. Kyle Winfield. Evan Nadu. Rosa Serpiziano. Terrell Crumpton. Gavin Allen. Damon Christensen. Samantha Olson. Justin Mansika. Benjamin Knoll. Alexis Butcher. Morgan Jesse. Jared Johnston. Dane Cavanis. Jonathan Hawley. Mia Adamson. Emily Stringer. Hannah Shin. Tiapinas Fernandez. Molly Payne. Brianna Lurch. AJ Diamond. Alexandria Peters. Matthew Shipley. Amanda Manuel. Jasmine Arguello. Marie Becerra. Elijah Wynn. Guinevere Lupian. Adrian Riddle. Kinzer Hernandez. Donna Marie Tolinu. Gaia Costantini. Valerie Wiley. Blake McBride. Dawson Siebold. Aaron Martinez.
Pace.
Brooke Trigo.
Alexandra Palmer.
Honor Knoxton.
Maya Corella.
Alyssa Bernal.
Trevor Fisher.
Carlos Daniel Santos.
Orlando Basorio Jr.
Ronaldo Perez.
Scott Steele Jr.
Jeffrey Tang.
Jason Montano.
Gabriella Barstad.
Brenna Rothman.
Ethan Kesgar.
Trevor Mondor.
Riley Simmons.
Carter Wilbon.
Hayden Brown.
Miguel Ramirez Rendon.
Bernardo Barber.
David Schmidt.
Joseph Orr.
Chance Thompson.
Gavin Bowman.
Ethan Travers.
Rosalinda Sanchez.
Devin Gilbert.
Morgan English.
Stephanie Goodwin.
Caleb Butler.
Travis Peterson.
Sean Stone.
Pablo Clausen.
Serena Kitchell.
Alexis Ducote.
Allison Parker.
Catherine Medina.
Haley Collier.
Caitlin Glenn.
Cody Souza.
Garrett Martinez.
Rosaficio Guerrero.
Giovanni Ochoa.
Boba Matthews.
Eleanor Tucker.
Kelsey Shepard.
Madison Bernal.
Isaiah Roseman.
Leah Bayon.
James Lensick.
Evan Whitinger.
Kira Barley.
Luke Davis.
Wyatt Bright.
Wyatt Nagel.
Timothy Sellers.
Wiley Evergreen.
Alexis Smith.
Allie Hunt.
Paul Rose.
Lance Gurley.
Tyler Ringelstetter.
Taylor Maxwell.
Miranda Wilson.
Kiana Richmond.
Ethan Olson.
Amber Conrad.
Julian Eagle.
Megan Flood.
Paul Mag Jr.
Chun Yu Tam.
Gabriella Thayer.
Noah Davis.
Caleb Brogan.
Joseph Gibson.
Trent Montoya.
Jeremy Salter.
Marcus Carmen.
Taylor Johnston.
Andres Barrios.
Daniel Soto.
Isabella Sanchez.
Guillermo Sanchez III.
Boy Lasco.
Daniel Worrell.
Rebecca Vasquez.
Sierra Dean.
Soraya Johnson. Laura Ito Gamaha.
Kevin Young.
Syra Flores.
Michael Rivers.
Brandon Liberty.
Tyler Moffitt.
Peyton Colby Ludwig.
Victoria Willett.
DeAndre Bennett.
Israel Soldier.
Omar Young.
O'Shawn Weaver.
Noah Miller.
Ashton Smith.
Juan Luna Elliott Jr.
Garrett Delgado.
Angie Caballero.
Aldrin Bonganai.
Ethan Lang.
Nicholas Lyons.
Liam Gore.
Zachary Orton.
Kylie Jones.
Cody Benton.
Connor Buchanan.
Claire Brown.
Alex Day.
Amelie Harrison.
Destiny Overly.
Kyron Tuller.
Gracie Boswell.
Timothy Hutchison.
Keith Williams.
Abigail Mathman.
Anthony Brown Jr.
Marcos Torres.
Eric Bowman.
Jerron Phillips.
Mason Kaliki Kupakako.
Yolani G. Kichocho.
Blake Cole.
Denzel Davis.
Aiden Dale Clark.
Christopher Londo.
Isaiah Hernandez Cruz.
Jose W. Lancelot Maglagua.
Mackenzie Street.
Emily
Truth Daniel Underwood.
Tyler Ray.
Justin Forsberg.
Bailey Plummer.
Audrey Golden.
Emma Hansen.
Madison Allen.
Logan Holt.
Mason Rose.
Tony Lubian.
Sean Gillespie.
Michael White II.
Taylor Kessler.
Sarah Eula.
Joshua Burke.
Kevin Schultz.
Alexis Ruiz.
Olivia Potter.
Sean Hargrove.
Tristan Skinner.
Alyssa Bellman.
Justin Smith.
Samuel Welch. Dana Williams. Jaime Aston. Emily Nord.
Part of the ceremony you've all been waiting for. In a moment, I will make the official declaration certifying these students as graduates. And after that declaration, the students and faculty will march out through the tunnel underneath the bleachers, and you are invited to meet your new graduates behind the stands. Thank you so much for being part of today's celebration.